So good evening everyone. So tonight we're gonna talk about the IoT and their uses. So we're gonna start with Franby Hernane.
So yes, I'll be the first one to share my insights. So before anything else, let me define what is an IoT. So IoT stands for Internet of Things. It is a physical objects with sensors, processing ability, software, and other technologies that connect and exchange data with other devices and systems over the internet or other communication networks. So example to that, your smartphone, your desktop, when you're using your smartphone, you take a picture and repost it in social media. There is an exchange of data happening there, and that is the best example of an IoT. So, what is an IoT sensor? Sensors are devices that detect external information, replacing it with a signal that humans and machines can distinguish. So, I have an example back when I was in high school. We have our robotics classes. So, we have a Somobot. It is a small robot that is used for Somo, di ba? Bagda. And then we we were used what are the parts of that robot. And then one of it is the sensor. So the use of sensor to that robot is to detect is where its enemy. So may not expect it. So another example of a high-end IoT sensor in the medical field. Best example of that is the biomedical sensors. So it is used in medical industry to provide early detection of illnesses and to improve monitoring of patients. So wearable IoT sensors connect patients' vitals such as blood pressure and heart readings in real time in order to identify potential diseases or other health concerns that might impact a patient's well-being. So example to that are the BP. You have the BP if you have experience with the um BP, so maybe you have a high blood illness. So that's all for my insights.
So thank you for sharing your insights, Franby. We're gonna have next Miss Jeanrey Lausa.
So the IoT or Internet of Things sensor high demand in the medical device industry. So one of them is the cautious mood monitoring devices. Information about depression symptoms on patients. General mood is another type of data that has traditionally been difficult to collect continuously. Healthcare providers might periodically ask patients how they are feeling, but were unable to anticipate habits. And often, patients don't accurately report their feelings. Hardware IoT devices can address these challenges by collecting and analyzing data such as heart rate and blood pressure. Devices can also information about the patient's mental health. Advanced IoT devices for mood monitoring can even data such as the movement of the patient's eye. So the key challenge here is that metrics like this can predict depression symptoms or other causes for consumed with complete accuracy. Companies that manufacture these IoT devices are Samsung, Samsara, Octagal, and many more. The development budget for a simple IoT app with the basic features may start from 30,000. If your app should have third-party integrations with, so let's say, payment system or complex logic, so the development cost could be calculated starting at 50,000. So IoT can also reduce costs by prioritizing and reducing the impact of productivity congestion by offering process optimization and analysis as well as conditional analysis to make sure human and machine work in perfect harmony. So IoT is a big deal because of how it can potentially change the way we interact with our devices and how it can create seamless integration of smart devices into our physical world. So IoT has differently shaped traditional industries. It is based on ICT, information and communication technology. It has combined both the physical and digital worlds together. The technology will indeed help in streamlining business processes and thereby boost productivity to great extent. So it will give you the ability to provide better products and services. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for that thoughts, Jeanrey. So next, I'm gonna share about my idea about IoT. As they discussed earlier, so IoT enable the internet to be connected to every object. Nowadays, almost the building, factories, and even cities, they collect data and use it for various purposes. So data has grown in importance with many experts claiming nga ang data daw is more the siya of new oil. So the Internet of Things or the IoT allows healthcare providers to expand their reach beyond the traditional clinical setting. Home monitoring system enables patients and doctors to keep track of the kanang individual health when they are not in the doctor's office. So avoiding unnecessary and costly trips to see a doctor. So the IoT is slowly making its way into healthcare. So both for doctors and the patients. Uh, so ultrasound, thermometers, glucose monitors, elect- electrocardiograms, other devices are becoming more connected, so allowing patients to track their health. So, muna siya ang example sa mga IoTs nga used for healthcare. So, this is critical in situations requiring follow-up appointment with doctors. So, one of the company that manufactures them is the Microsoft, which gets an annual revenue of 106 billion. So, more na ako ang idea about the IoT. So, mo ask na po ko next sa idea ni Dave.
So, no, no,
Oh, madawag na.
again, again, the question is identify Internet of Things sensors in high demand on the medical device pharma industry. So, Internet of Things in hardware is remote patient monitoring, meaning Internet of Things devices to collect patient data such as heart rate and body temperature. There are many other literature of IoT in the healthcare industry. So one example is gun remote patient monitoring. The most common the most common application of IoT devices for healthcare. IoT devices automatically can automatically collect health metrics like heart rate, blood, blood pressure, temperature. The second one is heart rate monitoring. Heart rate checks can check uh, don't guard against rapid fluctuation in heart rates for continuous cardiac monitoring used in hospital requires patients. So how are these sensors being used? In order to make the most of IoT for healthcare critical security, challenges must be addressed. Much of the data collected by medical devices qualifies as protected health information. So for what companies manufacture them? So one of the nagmanufacture kay Medtronic, G Healthcare, and Boston Scientific. So mauro to siya.
So thank you for that, Dave. So we're gonna ask Mary.
Okay, thank you, Reginald. So, IoT means as a whole and how healthcare IoT devices need to be monitored and managed. You must understand the multiple ways in which IoT devices can be used for healthcare. While the most popular example of IoT in Healthcare is remote patient monitoring, meaning IoT devices that collect. So I have here the example of IoT. So first is glucose monitoring for the more than 30 billion Americans with diabetes. Glucose monitoring has traditionally been difficult. Not only is it inconvenient to have to check glucose levels and manually record results, but doing so requires a patient glucose levels only at the exact time the test is provided. If levels fluctuate widely, periodic testing may not be sufficient to detect a problem. So second is connected inhalers. Conditions such as asthma or COPD often involve attacks that come on suddenly with lethal warning. IoT connected inhalers can help patients by monitoring the frequency of attacks as well as collecting data from the environmental healthcare providers understand what triggered an attack. So why security matters for IoT in healthcare? In order to make the most of IoT for healthcare, critical security challenges must be addressed above all. Device developers, managers, and healthcare providers must ensure that they adequately secure data collected by IoT devices. So, how are the sensors used? Most sensors are electronic. The data is converted into electronic data, but some are more simpler, such as a thermometer, which presents visual data. People use sensors to measure temperature, gauge distance, detect smoke, regulate pressure, and myriad of other uses. So that's all.
So I would like to thank everyone for sharing their thoughts tonight. So I guess that would be all. So thank you for having your time.